upright qi is generally a combination of defensive qi, nutritive qi, and kidney essence. Basically, if we talk about upright qi, the term is to indicate the different types of qi that protect the body, because it's not just wei qi, that's one of them. Yeah, protect the body from external pathogens. Okay, finally, true qi is the last stage of the refinement and transformation of qi. This qi originates from the lungs, okay, from the gathering qi, and this is the qi that when you're putting in a needle, this is what the qi that we're moving, okay? Now, generally speaking, we don't speak and use all of these different types of terminologies for qi. If we're talking about the raising action of the spleen, we'll just say the raising action of the spleen. We won't say central qi. But just for your purposes, so you know and understand that there are different types of qi. Okay? So, what are there? We have original qi, kidney qi, food qi or gu qi, gathering qi or zong qi, nutritive qi, defensive qi,
central qi,
yeah,
upright qi, and
true qi. Good. Okay, and we will be reviewing all of these, and we'll work with the different names for them, like the Chinese names. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, we're going to talk about the functions of qi now. Again, everybody thinks qi is, oh yeah, it's prana, it's ki, it's life force. Now we're getting into, not only do we have how many types of qi?
9.
Yeah, but we have how many functions of qi?
6.
6 functions. Okay, so just to begin, you have the function of TT, which is transform, transport. What other function? Hold. So holding the blood vessels, or the blood in the blood vessels, that holding. Hold, raise, like the spleen raises, and protect and warm. So how are we going to remember that? We understand the functions of qi. We can remember the TT, transform and transport, hold and raise. Okay, everybody do this. Hold and raise. Okay, protect. Let's go protect and warm. Fire. Okay, I don't know. You have to find, again, when you just read this point blank, and we can just read it just becomes something on paper. So I'm asking you to, how can you remember this?
Like a mother?
Yeah, it's like a mother, but I'm talking about how will you remember all those 6 functions of qi? Real quick, what are they?
Holding, raising, warming, protecting, and
TT. So I got one. TT, hold, raise, PW.
Protect and warm.
Protect and warm. Now, everyone has a different way of learning. Some people have photographic memory, so this is going to be really redundant what we're doing. But for those that don't have a photographic memory, this will be easy because, you know, TT is your transform, transport, hold, raise, PW, protect, warm. Hold and raise the PW.
hold, raise, protect, and warm.
Yeah, okay, so fine. Everybody has a different way. So let's talk about transforming. Qi is required to transform food and fluids, right? When we take in food, it goes down. And what does it become once we chew it? It's called chyme, right? C-H-Y-M-E. And this food is transformed into gu qi or food qi, which ultimately is transformed into true qi. So it's transformed. Okay, qi has this property of transformation, and qi is also responsible for transporting various body substances in and out of the body structure, okay? Generally speaking, after the substance has been transformed, okay? Holding, qi holds the fluids and blood together. It holds the fluids and blood together in their places to avoid leakage, leaking. Now, if there's a deficiency, we're going to have leakage, right? If someone has weak kidneys, leakage, right? It's not held, right? Urination or premature ejaculation, right? It's not held, okay? So, holding. Raising. Qi ensures that the body structures are held in place, okay? But also for raising the body and the fluids so that they don't collapse, okay? Because it's one thing for the blood to be in here, but there has to be an energy for it to keep it up. Otherwise, when this is filled, this pack or this sac, it'll depress and collapse. So something is holding all of our body parts together. I mean, okay, there is that we're made out of sacs, pouches, and tubes. It's true. Everything in our body is either a sac, pouch, or a tube. Okay? But what holds those sacs, pouches, and tubes together is qi. And which property of qi? It's the holding and the raising. Hold, raise function. Okay. Qi has the protective function also. Protection from pathogens, okay? An invasion of external, evil qi, or external pathogens. And the body's resistance depends on the strength of the wei qi, the strength of the defensive qi, as well as nutritive and kidney essence. Okay, if you are weak in those, if there's a deficiency, okay, or even a stagnation, things aren't going to flow. They're going to be stuck or blocked, or it's going to be weak. Okay. And finally, what's our last category? Warming. So the yang qi provides warmth for all physiological processes, okay? The body fluids need the warmth of the yang energy for their TT function, okay, for transformation, transportation, as well as excretion. When you urinate, and if you've ever felt your urine, it's not cold, it's warm. Okay, so what does that? That's qi. So what happens? One of the first questions that's asked, I remember when I was first started out, when you walk into, well, I rephrased that, but are you generally hot or cold? I never really understood that. So now I say, when you walk into a room, are you the person that has to wear a sweater, or do you want to get rid of the sweater? Or another way to ask that is, when you're sleeping, are you the one that closes the window and gets under the covers, bundles up under the covers, or are you the person who gets rid of the covers and opens the windows?
I do both.
Okay.
Open the window and then get under the covers.
Okay. So, but generally speaking, if you're always, and before I had all this acupuncture and the herbal medicine and all that, I was always that person that would walk into a room and I'd be cold. So that was like, on some level, a qi deficiency. There was something, like, I don't know if, without going into it, because we're not at module 3 yet, We don't know if it's spleen, lung, or what organ
That's
it's
for next
related
month.
to. We know we're going to start it this month. It's a qi deficiency, some type of a qi that where you're always needing to put warmth because there's not enough warmth in your own body. Okay? Okay, so far we have yin yang. How many relationships for yin yang? What are they? O, I,
Consuming,
Opposition,
interdependence,
opposition, interdependence, mutual,
consuming,
and
consuming, and transformation.
transformation.
Okay, you have to know this. That's why we're repeating it. How many types of essence? This is easy.
9.
Essence has
Sorry,
three.
Pre, post.
Pre-heaven, pre-post, and kidney.
Kidney.
How many types of chi?
9.
9.
9. Yeah, there's probably more, but these are
9 mains.
yeah. 9. Okay, how many functions of chi that we've discussed? 6. What are they?
Transforming,
Holding, raising, protecting, and warmth.
Okay, so someone tell me that real quick.
Transporting, transforming, holding, raising, protecting, and warmth.
Awesome. Okay, good. Okay, we have 5 elements. What are they? Everybody together. Wood, fire, earth, metal, water. Again, wood, fire, earth, metal, water. Okay. Now the associated element for wood is
The
liver,
power
gallbladder, okay, and the eyes. Associated tissues, sinews, and emotions, anger, shouting, road rage, okay. When people take a lot of drugs too, they get angry when they're, and think about it, it's affecting their liver, right? A lot of alcohol and bottles of vodka. Okay. Fire has to do with what organs? Heart, small intestine, tongue. Okay. Associated tissue, blood vessels, and joy and laughter. Now, if you have somebody in the room next door, so there's something not right in the heart channel, so we have to investigate that. Okay. Earth has to do with stomach, mouth. So if someone has a cold sore on their mouth, that has to do with the spleen. But if they have a cold sore on their tongue, that has to do with the heart. See the differentiation we're starting to build now? Okay. Associated tissues with spleen. Muscles. Right, muscles. And not the ones you eat. Although we do cook muscles, don't we? Okay. Associated emotions and sounds for spleen is thinking. If that's the negative, yeah.
Right.
If you're overthinking, then
Study.
there's
Study. Are you studying?
Worry.
no worry. No, because study doesn't give you Okay, and singing, earth, singing, right? Metal, lungs, large intestine, nose, and skin is the associated tissue, okay, which is said to be the largest organ in the body, right? The associated emotion and sound for metal, for lung, is sadness or grief, and weeping, okay, also sighing. Okay? Water has to do with kidneys and bladder, ears, okay? Bones is the associated tissue, and fear and groaning is the associated emotion and sound. Okay, now we've all, yeah.
So why with the heart you're not including the pericardium and the sanja
Because they are not really actually,
in organ?
they're just more like a protector.
But also, we do. When we look at the pericardium, we'll see that it carries a lot of the same as the heart. And generally, if you look at the 5 elements, you'll see they're all yin organs.
Yeah.
Okay, yin
I have a question before we move on, is, okay, my son developed something right here under his nose. Now, this is where you, is it the lung or is it the mouth? I say it's the lung.
Because it's on
Because
the,
he had a cold and then this developed.
yeah, okay.
So
And what is it, a little sore or?
I don't know, I've never seen anything like it. I told him to go get it checked out. 'Cause to me, it was like an inner cold. That's
Right.
what I thought it was,
Uh-huh.
an inner cold. Well, he went, unfortunately, they gave him antibiotics, and then he developed pneumonia.
Well, how old is he?
He's 28.
It's on the large intestine channel. They usually say, I've heard it said many times, like you have a sore here or here, you'll also have one in the intestine.
Well, there's also that,
Well-
that everything happens in the gut, you know, we get a lot of diseases by a dirty gut. But having said that, I like the idea that you are getting it checked out. I mean, always get it checked out. But if he had a big cold and they're blowing and all that, that's gonna offend, irritate.
Yeah, but
irritation.
I've seen irritation, but this was not irritation from wiping nose.
Uh-huh.
This was something.
A
it was-
growth, a growth.
Yeah, almost like a growth, and a deep dark red. Deep dark red. It wasn't, dryness.
Okay, so that's like fire, isn't it?
Yes,
Fire.
yes.
Okay.
But I assumed right away it was lung, and then when he got the pneumonia, it was like, okay, I assume it's a lung issue.
Right.
Now, they said he got pneumonia because of the antibiotics that he was given for the other issue, because it was too strong.
Antibiotics, yeah, side effects.
Best for anybody to say something. Best if we could see, the person, because it's hard to, and sometimes who knows what they're taking, and that can create side effects or things like that. But what is he now? He's got ammonia now.
Yes, well, he's getting better now,
Okay.
because they put him on something.
Did that resolve, or is that still? Is it resolving?
No, I think it resolved, yeah. I think it
Okay.
resolved with the antibiotics,
Yeah,
but
okay.
because it was too strong or
Yeah,
whatever,
okay,
it created
so-
the other
Yeah.
issue.
Well,
I still think
sometimes
they're
we can
somehow
get
related.
little infections and things like that. If it's red, then it could be like a little infection or a little sore, something that opened up from blowing or from the mucus and everything. And it's sometimes, having not seen it, but we can get a lot of infections, in those areas. Okay, moving on to the environmental factors. How many environmental factors do we have?
5,
6.
6.
huh? I don't know. Oh, never mind.
6 environmental factors. Now, are you enjoying these booklets? That not everything is written out. We're reviewing everything, and you know these, but it's one thing to
Study. They're
now.
good for studying.
It's well, yeah, and you can fill in your notes. So I'm not giving you everything. We have the notes, and these were all in your notes last time. But now what we're doing is you have to fill them out, and I don't per se want you to just fill out everything I'm saying, but you have to know this, and so this is going to test you. You can fill it in or make copies, and I just think it's a wonderful way of learning. Okay, so the 6 environmental factors, what are they?
Wind,
Cold,
cold,
summer,
summer, dampness, dryness, fire.
Okay, so wind, cold, okay. Then you have summer, dampness, dryness. So you have 2 D's in there. I'm just seeing how can you remember the 6 environmental factors? Because when you do these exams, often people forget that one, So wind, cold. Okay, now in Chinese medicine, wind, cold, you can get wind, cold. That we call that a cold, a normal cold, but we don't just say cold, we call it wind, cold, because often you get, when you catch a cold, you get stiffness in the neck and different things like wind, cold, or we can get wind, heat. So that's easy to remember. Wind, cold, summer, dampness, dryness. So remember, dryness, damp, dry, DD, and your last one is fire. Okay, so you basically have 2 heat signs here, right? Because you could have, instead of summer, you could probably have heat instead of summer because you don't have winter in there. So do you understand?
Mhm.
So you might want to write heat there.
Yeah. Four
So-
seasons add
Okay, yeah, you have your 4 seasons, yeah, plus 2.
a windy,
So you have wind, cold, summer, dampness, dryness, and fire. So let's talk about wind. What are some of its characteristics?
It's sudden.
Fast moving.
Fast moving, constant
Uprising.
change, rapid movement. It comes in and leaves quickly. So it's unpredictable. Okay, cold.
stagnation.
Good for you.